something older ruled beneath.
That's no fish.
It slept for centuries, until man's noise woke it. And so the king guarded his home, unaware that the ocean had sent its oldest challenger.
The hunter became the hunted.
The Giant Squid, a god beneath the waves.
Strength met cunning. Flesh met tentacle.
Even kings can drown. But even the smallest memory can spark the mightiest flame.
And the king rose not from the land, but from the depths.
The king won his crown once more, but the ocean never forgets.
Something else moved, deeper still. In the deep, death is never the end.
Even the king could feel it, the ocean's warning.
He had fought monsters, but never the ocean itself.
It's not an earthquake, it's moving!
They called it Leviathan, the first titan of the deep.
The island was no longer safe. The king answered.
And the ocean gave birth to a god. Land and sea collided in a storm of fury.
Even the king can vanish in the dark below.
But rage burns brighter than fear.
And so the tide turned. The final battle had begun.
The war had reached the surface, and the island would never be the same again. The sea monster, forged by centuries of darkness, now ruled the surface. But the king still had strength left, and vengeance in his heart. Land's rage met sea's power in a storm of chaos. The ocean fought back her, not with teeth, but with its endless might.
For a moment, silence claimed the king.
Deploy abyss detonators. Target the trench, now!
Mankind, once silent observers, now dared to strike at gods.
The sea screamed.
The beast was wounded, but awakened.
king rose again. Fury met destiny. Every strike carried the weight of a world at war. Even the skies joined the battle. He roared, not as a beast, but as a god of war. And the sea fell silent once more. Victory always costs the crown. But the deep never forgets.
From the ashes of the Leviathan, something ancient began to breathe again.
The abyss never dies. It evolves.
They called it Ambition, the son of the deep.
The island could feel the storm before it arrived.
He had won the war, but peace would not stay. Born from the Leviathan's corpse, stronger, faster, furious.
The king ran not to conquer, but to defend what little was left.
Fist met Fang, storm met Viere.
The sea sought to reclaim its prey.
We're detecting energy levels beyond Leviathan. It's mutating. Human eyes once again watched the gods destroy their world.
Fire answered water, and the island burned.
The king rose again, reborn in rage. Their fury tore the sky apart. The storm found its end.
But something else was still watching.
He was not just a king. He was balance itself.
The sea finally slept.
The fall of one god had stirred the slumber of many.
Beyond the reach of sunlight lies a kingdom forgotten by time.
Something vast was moving beneath the world.
The island's pulse began to change.
We've found energy readings deeper than the core. Something alive down there.
Mankind had looked into the deep, and the deep looked back.
Peace was never meant for a king born of war.
The shadows of the deep had awakened, and they were many.
The world had entered a new age of titans.
To face the darkness, the king would need allies.
From the skies came another ancient, the guardian of light. Light and strength must stand together against the abyss. The war of gods had begun anew.
The abyss had forged its own army, bound by darkness.
He fought not for power, but for balance.
Long before men or kings, there were gods.
Far beneath the last battlefield, something ancient still dreamed.
The King of Earth had returned, but the world beneath was awakening. The sea had remembered its gods.
Born of darkness, shaped by the abyss, they were the first titans.
These readings, they're gods, not monsters.
And humanity once again stood between gods and extinction.
The war of gods had begun again. To face darkness, the king had to become it. They carried the hunger of the void itself.
Power met power. Shadow met strength.
And the king reminded them why he was still king.
But even gods can merge their darkness.
Civilization crumbled as titans wrote their new history.
A god may fall, but legends never die.
And light conquered shadow for now.
The last god was never destroyed. One king. One final breath. The last gift of the sky for the King of Earth. The last god was never destroyed.
The war was over.
There's something moving down there, and it's bigger than the ocean.
Buried since creation, sealed by titans, the heart of the void began to wake.
Humanity felt the pulse of a god they never knew existed.
The king felt it too, a call from something older than death.
From beneath time itself, the Void King rose.
Even the heavens cracked to watch his rebirth.
One king must rise against another, or watch all worlds burn. The age of man was ending as the gods wrote their final chapter.
The ocean swallowed their rage and waited for silence. But even in the void, there is defiance.
A god of emptiness. A king of nothingness.
But silence is not peace, only the pause before eternity.
For the Void King was only beginning to rise. The king returned to a kingdom of ghosts. No weapon, no wall, no god could stop the coming night.
From the abyss came his army, the None, the children of the Void King. But what awoke was not life. It was hunger. Light returned, fragile, desperate, but burning still. The world slept beneath its frozen crown, awaiting the return of its gods.
The gods had returned, but this time they would fight for everything. He who feeds on light, the god who ends creation, had returned.
The sun's death was only the beginning. The last king fought alone, holding the line between worlds.
Man's last creation, forged from the bones of fallen gods. Earth, sky, and steel united against the void.
Power met eternity.
But light never bows to shadow.
When gods fall, silence follows.
The king of earth stood alone against the god of suns.
Light can die, but its echo remains forever. The abyss had an army, and it was endless.
When titans fought, the world itself trembled.
But the king's heart still remembered the light.
From the planet's pain, the mother rose.
The war was over. But peace was only a dream. The king who fought the stars had reached his end. And from the ashes of gods, man walked again.
The darkness never dies. It learns to hide.
And for one heartbeat, even gods bowed. Every king must answer for the war he brings. He rose not as a beast, but as the last guardian.
Legends fade, but kings never truly die.
The mother wept, and her tears became life again.